story is about her, about Elora, my 3-year-old daughter. 2 nights ago, I had a frustrating day. A few things had happened, and it was the night before. So this was Tuesday night, the night before Elora was going to start her new school. So I was packing her backpack, making sure, the diapers are in there and the wipes, and, they need 2 extra outfits with, extra socks and whatever. So I'm trying to get all this together. And precious little girl just wanted me to pay attention to her. So I was just feeling overwhelmed, and I gave her a bath. We're getting ready for bed, and she's not still ever. So I kind of have to chase her around or hold her down to lotion her and put her pajamas on. And we both stood up after that. We both stood up, and I went in one direction and she went in the other direction, opposite each other. And I was picking up the towel and coming up, and so the way it happened is we bonked heads together. And I try really hard. I really try to make light of things. Like if she spills something, like she cracks the egg on the table, I try to laugh instead of being like, I have to clean that up. I really do, because I want to teach her to have fun in life. But when we bonked heads on Tuesday night, at the end of a really frustrating day, I did not react pleasantly. I didn't speak. I just kind of made a face, and she didn't really know. She kind of was expecting me, because she kind of did her head and was looking at me with a smile. And I took her by her little shoulder, and I just moved her away from me, directed her, and then gave her a little, like that, directing her over to where I wanted her to go. Little girl lost it, just broke down. And so I took a deep breath. I said, Jesus, help me. Jesus, help me. And I walked over, and we sat down together, and I calmed her down. And I'm going to try not to cry telling y'all about this, but she said, you pushed me away. And I was like, oh, technically I just directed you in the way, but yes, I could see how you felt pushed away. So I'm having this conversation with my 3-year-old, and I calmed her down. I just said, I didn't mean to do that. I'm sorry that I got angry with you. I'm not mad at you. Can we both agree to pay more attention to where we're going in the future? I'm sure she'll still, until she's 25 years old, tell people that I pushed her away. But the reason I'm telling you that story is because I left that moment thinking, wow, Lindsay, you screwed that up. You better go ahead and put away some money for her counseling now, because way to go. You're a bad mom. You're a terrible mom. You can't handle stress. All of the things that start coming in. And luckily I've gotten to a point now, 10 years ago, 8 years ago, I didn't recognize that as false. I just thought everything I thought was true and accepted it like it was fact. And that is not the case. I can now recognize, okay, these are thoughts. These are just thoughts. I am assigning meaning to a situation that is not true. And so one of the best ways I've ever heard this explained was Brené Brown. I can't remember exactly. I think it's Daring Greatly. I've read several of her books, and she may talk about it more than once, but she explains the difference between guilt and shame. And guilt is I did something bad, and shame is I am bad. And a little bit of guilt is good, because that keeps us, from hurting other people or from, doing things we shouldn't be doing. But shame can be dangerous and hurtful. So I am bringing this to you guys because I want to help other people recognize this kind of thing because, for me, that was a situation with my daughter, but it could also be something that happens to you at work. It could have been something that you grew up with, a sibling relationship. It could be your spouse or whatever that looks like when something happens and then we assign meaning to it, saying, okay, well, I reacted poorly, so now I'm a bad mom. Well, that escalated quickly, like, don't we all mess up sometimes? And let's be real, she's 3. Like, she's probably not going to remember it. But, that was me. That was my part of it. Then I'm like, okay, for Elora, she could assign meaning to that mommy doesn't love me, that mommy thinks I'm annoying, all of these things. And so I'm very aware of this. And I know that I can't shield Elora from heartbreak. Everybody's going to have their heart broken. But I do want to try to teach her as she grows up and goes out into the world to recognize the difference of these things, because I did not know that. I didn't know that growing up. And so I spent a lot of my life attributing meaning to things that a lot of times was false, because somebody else made a choice, that doesn't define me. If somebody else had lied to me, that doesn't mean I'm less lovable or whatever it is, any situation it could be. So the other day I was watching this video, somebody else was doing a live video, and he explained when we're focusing on negative things that you think in your head like, okay, I don't want that, I don't want to be that you're going to avoid it, but you still are attached to it. And so he had like this stool that he used as an example, and he put his hand on the stool, like pushing it away. And the stool represented, his example was, I don't want to be a bad husband. And so he's saying, I'm not going to be a bad husband, I'm not going to be a bad husband, pushing the stool, but he's still attached to that bad thought and feeling. And that what we really need to do is detach from those altogether and flip it and focus on the positive, that I want to be a good husband, whatever that means. For everybody's definitions are different, but focusing on, okay, I'm going to prioritize my family, or if the example is something for me, instead of being like, I don't want to be a horrible mom, focusing on, I'm going to set aside quality time with Elora, and I'm going to do the best I can, focusing on those positive things, and then attaching yourself to the positive. And just because you accidentally messed up, just because I had some bites of mac and cheese, doesn't mean I'm a failure. I'm never going to be able to do this. I'm never going to change. That is all false. Those are meanings that I could have assigned to that situation. Appreciate everyone and your support. And I am going to go on about the rest of my day. And I hope you guys have a good day too. And I'll see you next time. Bye.